I miss my father every day. I miss his smile and his hugs. I miss the tenderness this rough, hued sailor showed his only daughter. But it's his stories I miss the most. One of my father's stories, my favorite story, was about how when he was sailing, they once came upon a ship that wasn't flying a flag, how they had to shoot a shot across the bow, a warning shot, to get the ship to show its colors. How exciting, I remember thinking, it must be to see the cannonball streak across the sky, across the bow of a ship and splash into the azure waters. I never dreamed I would one day see a warning shot, let alone live it. We knew how important Kansas was to the future of the United States, but we didn't know it was the warning shot of the war. I was 7 years old when it happened the first time. Cities and towns had sprung up around Kansas as pro-slavery and anti-slavery forces poured in, like rainwater filling up an empty basin. Leavenworth and Atchison, the seats of power for border ruffians, became bitter rivals with the residents of Lawrence and Topeka, where Jayhawkers, like my father, settled. The border ruffians set up a small cannon outside of Lawrence. They said that the one hotel in the town, the Free State Hotel, was a fort, that we were rebels opposing the territorial government. High above the plain, two flags rose. A blood-red Southern Rights flag floated side by side with the stars and stripes. That day, cannonball after cannonball flew into the city, and by nightfall, the hotel was a smoldering ruin. The town was almost completely deserted when these men stormed in and looted and stole whatever they could. As they left, they burned down the home of our first governor, Charles Robinson, the same home they used as their personal fort and headquarters. After that, my father was a different man, and that was before the war, before Quantrill. 7 years passed. 7 years we watched the world around us change. 7 years where we hoped and prayed that the war was gone from us and moved back to the east and south, back to the likes of Bull Run and Gettysburg. After the attack in 1855, the town was diligent and watchful, careful and vigilant to threats and rumors of war. But by the summer of '63, not a single threat had emerged. Our fears declined and our defense relaxed. On the morning of August 21st, 1863, groups of riders approached Lawrence from the east. As they arrived on Mount Oread, the men, 300 to 400 strong, descended into the town in a fury. Over 4 hours, they pillaged and set fire to the town. They spared even fewer men than they did buildings. They dragged families out of home and killed men and boys who were able-bodied to fight. That was the day I watched my father die a second and final time. Men, boys really, some as young as 13, kicked the door of our home in and dragged my father and mother out of their bed, my mother holding my sleeping baby brother. They pulled me out next. It was hot that summer, but in the moment I've never felt such cold. They hated us, not because of who we were, but because of what we believed. The sounds of my father's cries will haunt me until the day I die. He held my mother, who was holding my brother, and pled for mercy. If they gave him any mercy, it was that his execution was swift. The horrors I saw, they will live with me forever. A swath of death I pray will never be reproduced. Unarmed men and boys killed. Men who surrendered under promises of safety gunned down while their killers left. Bobby Martin, a quiet boy, all of 12 years old, dressed in clothing made of his father's uniform, was killed by a boy named Riley, who himself was only 13. War, I decided, is not about people. It's not even about ideas. It's about not knowing people and not seeing them for who they are. War is about seeing your enemy as you want to see them, as something less than human, something vile to be destroyed. I learned something in Lawrence. I learned that warning shots do not serve to warn, but only serve to destroy. They cause ripples in the water that spread out further and further and destroy everything around them. Some people think the Civil War started in 1861, but I know that it really started in 1855, with the first cannon shot fired at the Free State Hotel. By 1863, when the war returned to us, and by 1865, when a president lay dead, that so-called warning shot had caused a ripple great enough to rip a once proud country into two. If Kansas was indeed the warning shot to all of that, Then it seemed no one heeded the warning.